Hey guys, I'm back again doing things. So, yeah, I didn't know what to make for content, so I decided to do a Pokemon Unite tier list. So, let me first just explain the tiers in a bit more detail. So, there's OP, which, I mean, pretty self-explanatory. Great's like, well, the words are kind of self-explanatory, but I still want to go over what they really mean in terms of should you play them. Great means they're not necessary and they're not broken, but they're incredibly strong, and if you don't want to play anything in the OP category, these are still great options. Good, I mean, yeah, they can work. They're decent. I mean, they have some good matchups, they have some bad matchups. But if you really want to invest time and effort, you can make them work. Mediocre's like, I mean, you could, but why not just play something better? And bad is like, just don't pick this. And then, of course, there's the not playable tier, which let's just go ahead and put these guys in just to save time. So, starting off right off the bat with Venusaur. Bad tier. Just bad. I think this might be the only one that goes in bad. I mean, just has a pretty terrible, has an okay late game with Solar Beam, but it just is outclassed by Pikachu, Cramorant, and Cinderace do the exact same job, but better. So that's why I definitely think that Venusaur is in the bad tier for sure. Okay, next we have Gengar, and Gengar's a weird one because it is stupid strong in the late game, but its early game is awful. Like, its early game is really, really bad. Until you get into the higher levels, you're not going to be impactful at all. But the late game's so strong that I'm debating putting it in great or good, but I think I'm going to settle for good here because it just has too weak of an early game. Mr. Mime. Bit of a tricky one. Honestly, I could see it really going in good, mediocre, or bad, but I really do think it's just mediocre. It's just so weird, and is it a DPS? Is it a support? It doesn't really know what it wants to be. Like, it provides some utility with its walls, but not enough that it's like a true support. So that's genuinely how I feel about it. Okay, moving on. Snorlax. No question in my mind. This might be controversial, but here is why. Snorlax. Okay, let's go over. So it has great crowd control with heavy slam or block. Stupid amount of endurance, and it does way too much damage. Like, you do not want to take a duel with Snorlax, because unless you're like 2 levels above it or a Gengar, you are not going to win that duel. Snorlax, in my opinion, is in a really good spot right now, and it feels kind of unbalanced because it can do. If it didn't have the offensive pressure it did, it might go down to like great or good. But because it provides solid offense and defense, I think it has to be OP. Gardevoir. So Gardevoir is tricky for me and for everyone because it's only been out, what, 2, 3 days now? But seems like it can do some pretty good damage as a ranged attacker. I kind of think it's like a hybrid between Cinderace and Pikachu almost in the way it plays. But there are better options for what it does. But that doesn't mean you should discount it. Definitely a good. Absol definitely has a really strong early, mid, and late game, but okay, so Absol I'm putting in great tier, and I feel like that's fair because it has a good early, middle, and late game, but it doesn't have a broken early, middle, or late game. It's good at all stages of the game, but I just think, it isn't exceptional, but it's above average in everything, and I think it easily deserves great. Garchomp, wow. It's either gonna be mediocre or good. Okay, let's take a second here. Let's talk about Garchomp. So Garchomp is stupid. Garchomp's a lot like Gengar, but Gengar just has so much raw offensive power that you cannot ignore Gengar. It's fast and it's really hard to kill. Garchomp kind of, it has a lot of good damage, but again, it takes really long to get to the late game. So I really don't know where to put this. I think I will hold off on Garchomp. Okay, Lucario. I think I'm gonna go with mediocre, and here is why. Like, it's an all-rounder, and it's an okay all-rounder, and it's a pretty good chase down killer, but you want an all-rounder to be able to take more than like 3 hits. And Lucario, if Lucario was bulkier, I might consider it good or great, but as of right now, it does solid damage, but its Unite move is meh. It's just meh in everything. It has good offense, but if it had the defense to back it up, it'd move up way higher. Alrighty. Actually, on that note, I think I am going to put Garchomp in mediocre as well. I mean, it just has such a bad early game. Like, it's a beast once it gets its Unite move. Once it gets to like level 9, level 10, you start wrecking things, but before then, you're pretty much dead weight. Crustle. Alright. Crustle is weird because it doesn't do anything. Actually, I think I know where to put Crustle. Crustle for me is good. Oh yeah, by the way, Blastoise is not playable right now. I mean, Crustle's good. It's fine, but like, it has area denial. It has good damage, but then again, Snorlax exists. Crustle's just budget Snorlax, so why? Like, it doesn't feel unique enough to earn its position anything above good. And that's how I feel. Okay, Greninja might be a contender for mediocre to... Yeah, I mean, its kit doesn't feel strong. It just feels gimmicky, you know? Relies a lot on evasion and range, and I don't really like the way it plays. I can't justify it anything higher than mediocre. Like, there's so much competition for top attackers right now. I don't like the way Cramorant, I'm sorry, not Cramorant, Greninja plays. Talonflame, on the other hand, like, it's a... Okay, so I'm putting it again in good because it has the Absol problem and it has a problem with another speedster I will show. But, like, again, just, it's not bad, it's just something does its job better than it. Charizard can make a real contesting for bad. Like, Yeah, actually, I think Charizard goes in bad. It's just, it's an all-rounder a bit too much, you know? Like, the other all-rounders have some offensive or defensive capabilities, and Charizard just is good. It's fine, I guess, but it really doesn't do anything special, and it's just fine at everything, which makes it feel bad. Doesn't make it bad, but it makes it feel bad, and if people feel bad playing it, then it's bad. So I definitely think it's bad. How many times did I say bad in that sentence? Okay, Zeraora, we all know where this is going. OP, #1 character in the game right now. Stupidly strong Unite move, Completely overtuned kit, great mobility options, great scoring potential, and hits like a freight train. What more is there to say? Like, honestly, I think Absol. I think all of the other speedsters could be moved up a tier if Zera Aura did not exist. Like, all of the speedsters I feel like are good, it's just Zera Aura, you know? And that's legitimately how I feel about it. Alright. Cinderace. Mmm. Mmm. I could really see this going anywhere. It's definitely. I'm gonna hold off on Cinderace. Eldegoss, however, right up there into OP. Here's why. Eldegoss might not be strong, but it's the only option if you want any kind of reliable healing on your team. It is like. It's kind of like all of the other supports are like either Lucio or Zenyatta, and Eldegoss is the Mercy, you know? May not be the strongest, but it's better in terms of raw healing output and so much utility. Eldegoss is definitely a phenomenal pick. Okay, Cramorant, I'm a bit biased, but I'm thinking either great or good. Cramorant, it has okay The thing is, Cramorant, its kit is so versatile, you can either play an up-close rushdown attacker with dive and air slash, or you can hold off, but it has a really strong early game, pretty terrible mid game, and a really great late game. But it has an oppressive early game with Whirlpool. Like, Whirlpool Hurricane is insane. So, I'm definitely thinking, due to lack of endurance, and because of other Pokemon, I think good. I think good is fair. Pikachu S tier OP or great? Definitely. Yeah, I think it's OP. I think that's fair to say. Yeah, I think that's really, really fair because Pikachu and Cramorant are more similar than people give them credit, but Pikachu and Cramorant, they go really well together, but I think Pikachu's just the better of the two, and that's why I think it gets the top spot. Alright. Alolan Ninetales, great. It's a very strong option if you don't like the way Pikachu plays. It's an attacker, but it's just like there's so many stuns and slows. Like, if you have an Alolan Ninetales in your lane, it kind of plays like a support that can do a crap ton of damage if it wants to, but it doesn't need to be good. So I kind of feel about it like it's almost like a better, more offensively geared Mr. Mime. That is how I feel about it. Alright, Cinderace, I think. I think Cinderace goes in good. Cramorant, I am buffing to great. Because here's why. Cramorant's ability Gulp Missile is the only reason. This thing can just start launching nukes, and it has a. Cramorant's Unite move is really strong, in my opinion. Like, let's look. Weak Unite move, okay Unite move, good Unite move, Unite move, okay Unite move, okay Unite move. Actually, bad Unite move. Like, the fact that these guys up here have stupidly strong Unite moves. Snorlax's, I guess, is but these guys are definitely strong because they can be good whenever you need them in the game. Like, they're good early, mid, and late, except Cramorant, who's bad mid. But, yeah, I feel like Unite moves are impactful and powerful. They're a lot like ultimates in Overwatch, basically. And, a hero with a bad ultimate is always going to be outclassed by a hero with a good ultimate. That's how I feel about it. Okay, Wigglytuff. Just play. Just play Eldegoss. Why even play Wigglytuff? Just play Eldegoss. All I have to say. Slow bro. Slowing bro. Slow brothers. Alright. It's okay. I'm not putting it in mediocre right now. Here is why. Here's why I am keeping it as is. Here's my reasoning behind it. And okay, so Slowbro is kind of like a ranged version of Snorlax, except doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Slowbro, you have to rely on your team. You can slow things and stun things, but you don't do damage. You do like -3 damage. And in the 1v1, like the your best shot for winning a 1v1 is retreat to base and just out health it. You know? Like, you don't have the offensive power to turn fights. Like, you just Slowbro, especially in the fight, it lasts so long that it's almost a downside, really, because kind of has what the Great Wolf Glick describes as all my friends are dead syndrome, where if you pick off Slowbro's teammates, then yeah, sure, it can live a while, but it doesn't do enough damage. It's not self-sufficient. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Or is it too self-sufficient, Kind of outlasts things, but it just kind of sits there and doesn't do a whole lot. So, for that reason, I think, but because it has so much utility, we'll go with good. I think good is fair. Okay, Machamp. Great tier. Here is why. Here is why Machamp is great tier. You guys might be wondering, I personally don't think the all-rounder role is oppressively strong, but Machamp makes the all-rounder role seem strong. Like, how do I describe this? It has a lot of... The thing is, it does a lot of damage, but its attacks are in such a short range that, it's hard to fire those attacks off. But Machamp also has what the other all-rounders don't. Machamp has the ability to move. Machamp can close down on a target easily and provide a lot of offensive pressure. I kind of see Machamp almost as like... what do I compare it to? A charging Reinhardt in Overwatch. A Reinhardt with a broken shield. Machamp doesn't defend well, but if it gets up close and it starts swinging, things are going to be hurt. And that's how I really feel about it. So, looking at it, final thoughts. Let me think. So what do we take away from this meta? The thing is, we can't take away anything. This meta is changing day to day. I mean, at the beginning, Snorlax was bottom tier. Now it's not bottom tier. Eldegoss has gone up in viability. Zeraora and Pikachu have kind of stayed, but Pikachu's starting. Here's how a meta works. If I had a chart, I'd use it. So basically, how a meta works is there's the meta, and then there's the counter meta. And so basically there's a meta, and then there's the counter to that meta, and then the counter picks become strong. So in time, I think Pikachu will fade from viability because it is too... Like, it's strong but not oppressive, but right now it's oppressive because people haven't figured out counterplay to it. Like, if there was a Zera, I think I might make another separate Zeraora tier, because that is how I really feel about Zeraora. Like, it's so strong. You can try to counterplay it. You can't. You just kind of gotta deal with its existence, you know? There are ways to mitigate it by like ganging up on it, but a good Zeraora player is really, really hard to stop, and that is what I think makes it a hallmark of the OP tier. Like, if there was an OP plus tier, I think Zeraora would be in it. But, you know, what will the meta be going forward? And I can't give you much answer, but I can say that Pokemon Unite, compared to a lot of other MOBAs, I feel like are pretty well balanced. Like, the difference between, with the exception of Zeraora, any of these Pokemon could shift tiers on a day's basis if someone develops a new way to play them, a new strategy. If someone finds a really broken way to play Venusaur, then Venusaur could easily be OP. But right now, Venusaur is not OP. So, you know what? What I can honestly say about the meta is there a meta? Yes. It's just so undeveloped and chaotic that the things that just seem strong on paper are the meta. The things that are strong in practice, well, we'll have to see. So, I think that'll do it for this tier list. Don't worry, I think I'm still streaming after this, but yeah. I'll see you guys around with my next Pokemon Unite tier list.